We tend to think of human memory as a filing cabinet, a passive recording device that faithfully takes in the world and stores it for later. This diagram illustrates the classical, linear model of cognitive processing. Input leads to perception, which generates cognition, and finally deposits a modified memory at the exact end of the line. This model misses the actual mechanics of thought. It overlooks the fact that accumulated memory and cognition feed backward to alter the system itself. Under the brain kinematics model, cognitive maturation looks like this. It is a recursive process. The act of processing information physically and mathematically modifies the organizational structure through which all future information will be received. Because of this continuous feedback loop, the neural network receiving your next sensory stimulus is no longer the exact system that received the preceding one. The brain kinematics model suggests this recursive architecture of stress, memory, and filtering doesn't stop at the skull. It provides a blueprint for investigating whether the evolution of human society follows the same underlying mathematics. To understand either how a single thought forms or how a global society adapts, we have to abandon linear timelines. We have to map the mathematics of dynamic, self-modifying loops. This flowchart maps internal processing. Sensation is organized into perception, then integrated into cognition. This state immediately produces predictions that loop backward, creating a cognitive resonance filter. Matching information increases the gating variable, gaining attention, while contradictory data is actively suppressed, reducing its participation. That vulnerability begins with patternicity, our biological drive to find meaningful themes across isolated experiences. If ancient humans observed dark clouds, hear thunder, and then see rain, they might attribute the storm to an angry spirit. The inference of spirits is completely wrong, but the resulting behavioral rule, seek shelter, works perfectly. This attractor basin represents a false functional algorithm. As this rule guides behavior, the basin deepens into a habit. Contradictory evidence bounces off, but massive contrary data causes severe strain. Crossing the cognitive reversal threshold shatters the rigid walls, forcing the system to reorganize. A single contrary fact is rarely enough to break a deep-seated belief. Because these false models are practically functional, dismantling them requires a critical, overwhelming mass of contradiction. If we zoom out from the individual mind, we encounter a structural problem. A society obviously possesses no hippocampus. It has no prefrontal cortex. Yet human civilizations clearly possess memory, retain habits, and learn over time. The general theory of organized systems resolves this by showing that as we scale up, the medium changes, but the underlying organizational principles remain identical. At the civilizational level, this is governed by network viscoelasticity. This describes how information persists and permanently reorganizes the connections between discrete nodes long after the initial event has passed. This table maps internal cognitive structures directly to societal equivalents. Episodic memory becomes historical recollection, and habit becomes custom. A codified rule mirrors a processing algorithm, and deep biological long-term storage translates into archives and institutions. An institution is effectively a historically stabilized trajectory. It is a collective habit designed to lower the processing resistance of specific behaviors for future generations. Brain and civilization represent two different realizations of the same recursive dynamics. One is biological, the other a network of people and institutions, yet both operate through the same cycle of memory, feedback, and regulation. This macro network highlights societal friction. Civilization contains millions of interacting units with competing goals, generating jagged lines of organizational stress. Regulating these interests and rerouting strain to preserve continuity requires a balance approach mediator. This mechanical foundation is justice. Justice doesn't blindly preserve equilibrium. Current states often embody accumulated inequality. It forces movement towards sustainable balance. This equation represents the civilizational relaxation spectrum. Regulatory memories persist across different timescales. Some strains dissipate quickly, while others embed in legal codes for centuries. By accumulating these rules, laws, and institutions over centuries, civilization gains a power individual neural processing lacks: externalized metacognition. The network inspects its own algorithms. Explicit procedures, like the scientific method, serve as deliberately constructed institutional counterfilters. They are designed specifically to overcome our innate patternicity, confront contradictory evidence, and break societal false functional algorithms. Both neural and civilizational systems face the exact same paradox. Too little stability produces disorganization. Too much yields maladaptive rigidity. Across all scales, adaptive continuity demands a precise balance. To mature and survive, an organization must preserve enough of its past to maintain identity, while remaining permeable enough to accept its own correction.